Kids, welcome to my room. Right now we're going to work about finding the equations of lines. So we already looked at graphing lines, plotting lines, recognizing lines that are already plotted on this coordinate plane, and the way to find distance between them. But right now, what happens if we want to find the equation of a line? So let's say we have 2 points, 1, 2, and -2, 3. And we want to find the equation of a line that goes through these points. I'm actually going to put this up a little bit higher just so it doesn't run into what we're going to work on the board. So the way that we can find the equation of a line passing through them is to go ahead and subtract this from this. And we get, if we subtract it, we get 1, 2. Well, hold on, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. The way that we can find first the slope of the line is to go ahead and take y2 minus y1, which is the, what's it called? The second part of the coordinate pair. So this is x2, y2, and this is x1, y1, because this is the first point that we plotted, and that's the second point we're looking at. You can interchange the order if you want to, and it won't change the problem. But when I refer to x2 and y2 and x1 and y1, I'm referring to these numbers and those numbers. So the slope of the line is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That may look complicated, and it may be a little bit of a stretch from what we've been doing so far, but we're doing geometry. It's time to start putting things on paper. So y2 is going to be 3 minus y1, which is 2, over x2, which is minus 2, minus x1, which is 1. So if you actually do the math in the numerator and the denominator here, we end up with 1 divided by -3, which is equal to -1 over 3. And I'm working backwards here because I had more room on the board that way. It doesn't matter which way these things go on the equal sign. So -1 over 3 is the slope. So when we're writing the equation of a line with a slope of -1 over 3, I'm going to go ahead over to this side of the board. The slope is of the form, the equation of a line goes in the form y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope of the line and b represents the intercept of the line, or the y-intercept, which is the place where it crosses the y-axis. If I'm a little all over the place, ask me about it in class. So right now we have already decided that the slope is equal to the x2 or the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is -1 over 3. So now we have a slope found already. So y equals -1 over 3x, because we decided that m is the slope in this form. And then now we need to find the intercept. So if we have a line with a slope of -1/3 and we have a point at x equals 1, y equals 2, then we can go ahead and follow that slope backwards to the point where it crosses the y-axis. And that crossing occurs 1/3 of the unit, because x is going backwards by 1, y is increasing by 1 over 3. So now we have y equals 2 plus that 1/3 that we just went up by going backwards. So y equals -1/3 x plus 2 1/3, or plus 7 over 3. I just changed the mixed number into an improper fraction. So now we have the equation of the line that passes through those 2 points. But what if instead we want to plot a line given an equation that we already have? And I will get to that in just a second here once I've erased some more of the board, so I can get a little bit more room here. So let's go ahead and say that we want the line y equals 2x plus 1. So the first thing we know is this plus 1. That's the y-intercept. So that means when x equals 0, which is going to happen on this y-axis, y is equal to that times 2 plus 1. So it's going to be here. It's going to equal the point 0, 1. Maybe a little hard to see, but it's right here on the board. But now it's 2x plus 1, which means every time x goes up 1, y goes up 2. So we get to put a point here, 1 forward and 2 up. So now we're here at 1, 3. We also want it to go in both directions, so we can put a line or put a point here at -1, -1, because that's where it happens when you go backwards 1 and down 2. And then we can generalize this a bit if we want to -2, -3. Hold on, let me make that a little bit clearer. -2, -3, and 2, 5. And then I guess the last thing that would fit on our board would be -3, -5. Then from there, you could draw a line connecting all of these points, passing through the first point that we already knew was there, going off forever in both directions. And that is how you graph a line given its standard form, which is y equals mx plus